full alert. The signs have already started to appear, and what's coming could be one of the most devastating events in human history. The Earth's magnetic field is changing rapidly, and scientists know that a reversal of the magnetic poles is no longer a question of if, but of when. The impact could be catastrophic. Power grid failures, climate collapse, volcanic eruptions, and even an increase in cosmic radiation. But worst of all, it's already starting to happen. In today's video, you'll see the frightening evidence that indicates we're on the brink of an unprecedented event and how this transformation could affect our lives. Without further ado, let's get started. Has the reversal of the magnetic poles already begun? The undeniable signs. The reversal of the magnetic poles may already be underway, and the signs are undeniable. The magnetic North Pole, which used to move at a steady rate of around 15 kilometers per year, is now advancing at an impressive 50 kilometers per year toward Siberia, an unprecedented shift in modern history. This accelerated movement has caused maladjustments in navigation systems, requiring constant adjustments to compasses and geographical coordinates. In addition, the Earth's magnetic field is weakening rapidly, having lost around 10% of its strength in the last 175 years. And scientists warn that this rate of decline could indicate an imminent geomagnetic reversal. Renowned researchers such as James Lawrence from the Institute of Geophysics at the University of California and Phil Livermore from the University of Leeds have been studying these changes and warn that the poles may be entering a phase of accelerated transition. According to a study published in the scientific journal Nature Geoscience, the Earth's magnetic field is as unstable as ever, and the possibility of a reversal in the coming centuries or even decades cannot be ruled out. Stories of past reversals reinforce this concern. The Lachamp event, which occurred approximately 41,000 years ago, was the most recent geomagnetic reversal and lasted about 1,000 years. During this period, the Earth's magnetic field weakened significantly, allowing high levels of cosmic radiation to reach the surface. Some theories suggest that this reversal coincided with abrupt climate change and even the extinction of several species of megafauna. The impact of this weakening is already being felt globally. Regions such as the South Atlantic are registering magnetic anomalies that affect satellites, causing unexplained failures in communications and GPS systems. Telecommunications companies have reported unexpected interference, while pilots of military and civilian aircraft have faced sudden deviations and erratic readings on flight instruments. Even migratory animals, such as birds and whales, which depend on the magnetic field for navigation, have shown disoriented behavior, resulting in strandings and out-of-season migrations. In addition, another curious effect of the weakening magnetic field is the increase in the incidence of aurora borealis at atypical latitudes. Normally, these colorful lights are visible in regions close to the poles, such as Canada and Norway. However, in recent years, auroras have been recorded in unexpected places, such as Texas, Spain, and even Brazil. This is because the magnetic shield that blocks solar particles is becoming less effective, allowing solar winds to reach areas that were previously protected. These events are just the beginning of a phenomenon that could radically transform life on Earth. If the weakening continues at this rate, we could be on the brink of unprecedented catastrophic change. The signs are everywhere. Ignoring them could be a fatal mistake. The first effects of the reversal. Chaos in climate and geology. The first effects of the magnetic pole reversal are already manifesting themselves in the form of climatic and geological chaos, and science has the evidence to prove it. The Earth's magnetic field acts as a protective shield against cosmic radiation and solar storms. But with its progressive weakening, we are increasingly exposed to these phenomena. In recent years, we have seen a record increase in volcanic eruptions and earthquakes, as well as intense activity in the Pacific Belt of Fire, where volcanoes such as Mount Merapi in Indonesia and Popocatépetl in Mexico show signs of intensifying. Scientists speculate that these changes may be linked to the instability of the Earth's core, which is directly influenced by the decrease in the planet's magnetic force. The relationship between the magnetic field and the Earth's core is fundamental to understanding this instability. The outer core, composed of iron and nickel in a liquid state, generates the magnetic field through the geological dynamo effect. When this balance changes, the movement of magma also becomes unpredictable, which can increase the pressure in magma chambers and cause more frequent and intense volcanic eruptions. In addition, recent studies suggest that changes in the magnetic field can affect tectonic plates, resulting in a higher incidence of earthquakes. In 2023, for example, a 7.8 magnitude earthquake hit Turkey and Syria, causing thousands of deaths. Some researchers believe that this event may be related to subtle magnetic variations that have been occurring in the Earth's mantle. Solar storms are also becoming more frequent and powerful, threatening power grids and communication satellites. In 2023, a strong coronal mass ejection from the Sun almost caused a global blackout, highlighting the vulnerability of modern infrastructure to these events. As the magnetic field is weaker, these storms can cause power surges capable of disabling electrical transformers on a large scale, resulting in a collapse of electricity in several regions of the world. In the climate field, extreme phenomena are appearing with greater frequency and intensity. Atypical hurricanes, such as Hurricane Otis, which hit Mexico with unprecedented intensity, and record heat waves recorded in China, Spain, and the United States, are some examples of the destabilization of the Earth's climate system. In addition, Antarctica and the Arctic have seen alarming levels of ice melt, exposing areas that have been frozen for thousands of years and contributing to rising sea levels. Another growing concern is the possibility that the magnetic reversal is connected to mass extinction events. Some scientists suggest that periods of geomagnetic transition in the past have coincided with significant extinctions. Some experts warn that these events could be just the first signs of intensified global seismic activity, something that would become even more unpredictable as the magnetic field continues to weaken. If these phenomena are already happening now, what awaits us when the reversal is complete? When the poles reverse, what will happen to the world? When the poles reverse, the world will face drastic and possibly irreversible changes. One of the scenarios most feared by scientists is a global blackout, as the reversal could completely destabilize electrical and communication systems. Satellite networks, GPS, and even the internet could be severely affected, causing collapses in critical sectors such as transportation, the economy, and health. Increasing exposure to cosmic radiation poses a significant risk to modern technology and infrastructure. Without adequate protection from the magnetic field, electronic equipment can suffer severe interference. Communication and meteorological satellites could fail, affecting weather forecasts, environmental monitoring, and even TV and radio signal transmissions. This would also impact digital financial transactions, which rely on satellites to synchronize data between banks and global markets. In addition, commercial aviation and maritime navigation could become extremely unstable. Most modern aircraft and ships use the Earth's magnetic field for orientation, and a reversal could cause navigation systems to fail, putting thousands of flights at risk. Pilots could face erratic readings on onboard instruments, making landings and takeoffs difficult. Commercial planes flying at high altitudes are already exposed to a certain dose of cosmic radiation, but without the protection of the magnetic field, this exposure could increase significantly, posing risks for crews and passengers. The impact on human health cannot be ignored either. Increased cosmic radiation could increase the incidence of cancer, genetic mutations, and autoimmune diseases, as well as compromising the immune systems of entire populations. Some research suggests that ionizing radiation can interfere with human DNA, accelerating cellular aging and increasing cases of neurological problems. In the long term, this could lead to significant biological changes, even affecting the evolution of the species. Another worrying factor is the impact on migratory fauna, since many species, such as birds, sea turtles, and whales, depend on the magnetic field for navigation. There is evidence that minor geomagnetic variations are already disorienting these animals, leading to erratic migrations and an increase in the number of strandings. If the reversal occurs completely, this phenomenon could become even more serious, putting at risk the survival of several species that depend on this orientation mechanism. In addition, geological records indicate that some inversions have been accompanied by periods of climatic and geological chaos, which could mean volcanic eruptions and earthquakes on an unprecedented scale. The Earth's magma, which is also influenced by the magnetic field, could become more unstable, triggering a chain of devastating seismic events. If all this happens simultaneously, we will be facing a transformation that could redefine life on the planet as we know it. What governments and elites know that they're not telling us? If the reversal of the magnetic poles represents an imminent danger, why are governments and elites silent? While the population goes about its routine unaware of the risks, billionaires are buying up land in strategic locations, far from the coasts and at high altitudes. Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, and other tycoons have acquired properties in isolated regions, raising suspicions that they are preparing for a catastrophic event. In addition, there are reports of secret underground bases, such as the Cheyenne Mountain Complex in the USA, and hidden facilities under the Swiss Alps, which could serve as refuges for a select group of people in the event of a global crisis. Another worrying fact is the migration of government facilities to regions considered safe, such as command centers being relocated to areas with less seismic and climatic vulnerability. In addition, military research involving magnetic fields raises disturbing questions. Do they already know exactly when the reversal will occur? Scientific reports indicate that the changes have already begun, but much information is withheld from the public to avoid mass panic. If governments and the financial elite are preparing, should we be too? How can we prepare for an event of this magnitude? If the reversal of the magnetic poles really is imminent, where would be the safest place to be? Scientists suggest that regions far from tectonic faults, above sea level and away from large urban centers, may offer greater security. The highlands of Brazil, parts of Canada, inland New Zealand, and remote areas of Russia and Mongolia are suggested as less vulnerable to tsunamis, earthquakes, and extreme weather impacts. Another essential criterion is to avoid coastal areas, as sudden changes in sea levels could cause catastrophic flooding in coastal cities. In addition, survival equipment will be essential to face the challenges of an unstable planet. Having solar generators, shortwave radios, dynamo flashlights, and analog means of navigation could be crucial when satellites and power grids fail. Water filtration will be an absolute necessity, making activated carbon filters and portable purification systems indispensable items. Another important issue is protection against cosmic radiation, which could increase if the magnetic field weakens further. Experts recommend underground shelters lined with insulating materials to reduce exposure and minimize damage to health. To survive a global blackout, experts suggest stocking up on drinking water, long-lasting food, essential medicines, and developing alternative communication systems, such as walkie-talkies and light and sound signal codes. Some communities are already organizing themselves for extreme scenarios, creating self-sustaining villages with their own agriculture, renewable energy, and support networks to exchange supplies. In the U.S. state of Oregon, for example, there is a growing movement of eco-villages built to withstand climate disasters and systemic failures. We can learn a lot from past catastrophes. The fall of ancient civilizations may have been caused by similar natural events, and those who survived had one thing in common: they were prepared. Some theories suggest that civilizations such as the Mayans and the inhabitants of Easter Island may have been devastated by drastic changes in the environment. Faced with an event of this magnitude, the question is no longer whether to prepare, but when to start. The elite are already preparing, and it's up to us to decide whether we stay behind or take charge of our future. The next steps. What to expect in the coming years? Scientists warn that the reversal of the magnetic poles could happen faster than previously thought, with indications that we are already in the early stages of this transition. Research shows that the Earth's magnetic field is weakening at an alarming rate, and if this trend continues, we could face the most drastic effects within the next few decades. However, the speed of the reversal is still uncertain. Some theories suggest that this change could be gradual, taking place over thousands of years, allowing humanity time to adapt. In the worst-case scenario, an abrupt change in a few decades could quickly generate global chaos, catching society off guard. In the coming years, a significant increase in extreme events is expected, such as more frequent earthquakes, intense solar storms that could affect power grids, unpredictable climate change, and altered migratory patterns of various animal species. Scientists are monitoring the South Atlantic anomaly, an area where the magnetic field is already dramatically weakened, increasing the risk of interference with satellites and power grids. But is there a way to prevent or minimize the impacts of this inversion? Some researchers are considering the possibility of creating an artificial shield against cosmic radiation, an artificially generated electromagnetic field to protect the Earth, similar to the one NASA has already developed to protect astronauts from radiation in space. Other strategies include satellites with reinforced shielding, decentralized power grids, and protection mechanisms for power stations. Technology companies have already started investing in backup systems for power grids and more resilient communications infrastructure. But the truth is that no large-scale solution has yet been implemented. What's more, governments and corporations may already be planning for a post-inversion world. Underground bases, self-sustaining city projects, and the advance of space exploration may indicate an attempt to find alternatives to a planet that may become increasingly unstable. The clock is ticking, and each new extreme event could be another piece in the puzzle that indicates that total inversion is closer than we think. Will we be prepared when it happens? The signs can no longer be ignored. The reversal of the magnetic poles could trigger a series of events that will change the world forever, and scientists are already on alert. The consequences could be devastating for those who are not prepared. The question now is no longer whether it will happen, but how and when. Do you think we are close to a global collapse? What do you imagine the world would be like after this inversion? Leave your opinion in the comments. And if you want to keep up with this shocking reality, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video, if there's still time.